right now, you guys look great, right? You guys, I mean, it's blowing up. Your Instagram's blowing up. That's blowing up. But what people don't see, and the young kids that don't see, and the people are and I was talking to Firepod today, right? Is I mean, the things we've done prior to where we are right now. I mean, mistake, mistake, mistake. Every time I go and talk, I always say nobody has made more mistakes than I have, right? Using, right, whatever. But the thing is, that the beauty of it is, okay, I made that mistake. I'm going to do this, right? And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. My staff teases me now because I always tell them I'm going to, you guys our athletes are coming out. I'm like, oh, you guys happen to catch me in a transitional phase of my life, right? I'm not the old, the stand there and, just hard, just punch them hard in the face, right? And go, right? Now I'm like, no, we need to do a little bit more like this way. Let's do it this way. No, not so hard. Dylan, take it easy on the kids. No, they don't need to do that, right? It'll be easy, right? So it's mistakes that have led to the evolution of Feed the Cats, evolution of Kula performance, evolution of WEC method, evolution of whatever it may be, is what everybody sees now is, how cool is Kula in his new facility.
Hey.
How cool is Tony Holler? He's getting, to do all these cool events and blah, blah, blah. And David Weck has done this and done that, right? But what nobody ever sees is all the things we fucked up along the way.
Hey, let's be thankful that social media wasn't around when I first started coaching.
Fact, dude. Oh, I tell my staff, I'm like, I remember, coming out of college and moving up to Alaska and doing my first session. I think to myself, it was just fucking terrible. It was terrible. I wouldn't have paid me. I always say to people, I wouldn't have paid me $5 an hour to do that.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'll tell you a true story. I competed in the decathlon in college, and I was competing against Dan O'Brien at a meet.
Really?
Mount Sac Relays out in California. And I was obsessed with him because he was a world record holder at the time. That's what I wanted to aspire to be. And I watched him. I'd go to meets, I'd watch him. And, he was put together. He was a unit, right? Guy was just unbelievable. And, I kind of noticed it seemed like, right, he had like his, he had the great glutes and like it always seemed like his hips were kind of tilted forward, kind of chest out. So my first year of coaching as a head track coach, I'm 23 years old, just fresh off, my college career. And I'm out in front of the kids teaching them to tilt their hips forward, right? And everybody in the room right now knows that that's wrong, right? I mean, raise your hand if you don't know that's wrong. Okay, so again, to your point of mistakes, like, God, if that was anywhere documented now, like I'd be worthless today, right? So you make those mistakes as a young coach, and then you grow out of them, and that's how you hone your skills to get to,
And that's the key. I think if you're not embarrassed and cringy about a lot of things in your past, that means you haven't grown.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's why we grow.
Sure.
Switching gears, we're going to go to a little more technical question. This is a question I have for each one of you. When, if ever, do you train your athletes with heels on the ground? And if you do, why?
I think there's some times when when I try to get an athlete's heels on the ground, we're working through tissue resiliency, trying to make sure we have good ankle mobility. Would be an example that I can think of when we're trying to keep the heel on the ground and move through in our three-dimensional movement series that we do. We'll try to keep all the feet on the ground. I think at times, there's athletes when they change directions in deceleration or change of direction where the whole foot, does hit the ground. And so I think there's times in change of direction work where it's okay to teach a kid to, an athlete to put the whole foot into the ground for, maximum force absorption and production. So, I mean, not a lot is the answer. And I think sometimes when they're, for me, and again, I'm not as well versed in in David's methods and, Bam with some of your animal movement stuff. And however, like when we're lifting, I sometimes want full force production into the ground. And so we're going to have heels and toes. So I think sometimes in the weight room, we're going to have heels on the ground.
We do on our, what we call cat jumps.
Yep.
They're actually depth jumps, but I threw a cat off a roof in 1964. And so I call them cat jumps. But we do land full-footed because if you land on the balls of your feet, you have no balance. Mm-hmm. But, we basically just jump off of high things like the Russians used to do to absorb force. And as soon as our feet touch, our entire body freezes. You know, and so we do that a lot. But I don't really talk about heels much in sprinting. When you time a lot, if a kid's landing on the back of his heels, he's going to be slow.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful things about timing, is that kids will organically figure some stuff out when you time them. You don't have to go through a 101 point checklist with them.